We're
It's
live,
showtime.
everybody.
We are live. What's
Happy
up, everybody?
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Just like Dave
We're
said.
we're a week before Christmas,
That's right.
2 weeks
Oh,
before New Year's.
which means we won't be having our
Yep.
show next week because it'll be
There
Christmas.
won't be a live next week because of Christmas. But here's the thing. I'll put you on the spot, Mark. Are we going live New Year's Day night?
Are we?
I don't know. Are we?
New Year's Day or New Year's Eve?
New Year's Day. Well, New Year's Day is Wednesday, so it'll be our usual live.
Oh yeah, we'll do that Wednesday. Well, we'll do that
Wednesday. There we go.
I'm good with that. We'll start the new year off right.
So
Why not?
we're gonna go with that.
Why not?
And
How's
to the
everybody
stars
doing
here,
tonight?
we got stuff to give away.
Yes.
To the stars. Well, we're going to do that in a little bit. But to show you what we're giving away, To the Stars made up these hats for the people who donated to the Children's Army. So we've got those to give away, and we're going to announce who those people are.
Those look
super
cool.
badass. And we have other news, which I'm really happy to share this, that Robin missed this in our members live. So she's had to wait until now. And I hope she's in here.
Robin.
Otherwise, she's going to miss it again. But we have a brand new poker chip. It is purple. It is in the store now. Get that to focus. Focus. How do they do it? Like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
Is. Whatever. There it is. Purple poker chip. You can see that in our store.
There you go.
Yeah. Man, I am exhausted after Wednesday at WinStar, the weekend at WinStar.
Yeah,
it feels like we
to say the very
just
least.
got back from Vegas.
To say the least, Dave and I are burned out of casinos for now, so we will not be doing any more casino visits for the rest of the year. Thankfully,
which is only 2 weeks. It's a week and a half. So
we'll be doing something in January. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not going to make any announcements, but we will be traveling out somewhere in January.
Yes, we're working on it.
Of course, let you guys know well in advance as soon as we get everything ironed out. But so we're going to start off the new year, hoping to get someplace once a month out there. We're going to make it to the Northeast, of course, to Atlantic City next year. We're going to make it out to Foxwoods again, of course. We'll probably make it out to California, I'm sure. I've got some offers that I probably need to use soon before they go away out at Lake Tahoe. So I'd like to go out there too. So we'll be going a lot of different places
next year.
Out there. So stay tuned to that. We'll let you guys know where we're going to be and all that kind of stuff. All right. So while we're babbling along, doing our normal routine, starting the show, make sure you guys start asking your questions early. You can ask us any kind of gambling related question. It could be on a video that we've done recently or something that's been on your mind for a long time. You've always wanted to know. Dave and I are here to answer your questions tonight. So get those questions in now because they get really busy and backed up towards the end of the hour and we're not able to get to everybody. So it does take you do get an advantage play, so to speak, by coming in early because we kind of see the questions early. So because once it gets crazy in here, it's hard to keep up with all the questions coming in. So
I want to take this one real quick from Adam G. Adam G, your thoughts on no more resort fees? Does this mean that room rates will go up? Adam, if you're talking about the FTC piece that just came out, that has nothing to do with getting away with fees. What it is being honest and upfront about what fees you're being charged. So no more hidden fees. There was a whole lot of talk about getting rid of resort fees and making it a federal law. That never happened. This FTC rule is not it. It is only focused around making sure that your bill and you're basically, when you book, has all the fees listed out that you are going to be charged. So it has nothing to do with zero fees or getting rid of resort fees. Resort fees are very much around, and they're very much a cash cow. If by any chance they ever do go away, room rates will go up to match that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, something that Dave says all the time, and he's absolutely right. Whenever casinos are hurting or they're doing well, whatever the case is, they don't mess with the machines. They don't mess with the table odds or anything like that. What they're messing with are resort fees, parking fees, food, beverage fees, room rates, because that's stuff they can do overnight without any regulatory approval. So when they need to stick it to you, that's how they do it.
Yep.
That is how they do it. So Just keep that in mind.
It is exactly. They don't need to ask for regulatory change. They
Yeah.
don't need to ask for their shareholders. They don't need to petition the state or the city. Nothing. They just do it.
Yeah.
I want to charge you an extra. I want to start charging you for drinks. Do you know how much money they make from that right away? Bam. They don't have to do anything for that.
That's true. Good question from Mike. Hey guys, is 5 lines machine better than a 1 line? So there are differences that you need to be aware of. So one's not necessarily better than the others, but 5 lines you typically get more action. And what I mean by action is you get more line hits more frequently. Okay, they may just be your money back. In a lot of cases, they are just your money back, like mixed bars, for example, or double cherries or cherries and a double diamond, whatever you find on the 5 line that you're playing. But it allows you to play a little bit longer. But you got to remember that you're just betting one multiplier 1 times your bet for each line. Where on a single line game, you might be betting 3 credits or 2 credits for that single line game. So you're actually multiplying your win. And so I prefer 5 lines because I would rather get more action instead of waiting for that wonderful line hit to show up. To me, it's more exciting. It's nothing's worse than playing a single line game and just constantly getting misses, not even getting mixed bars and stuff like that.
One.
Yeah, so I prefer to have more line coverage personally. So 5 lines are my pick, but again, there's not like a big discernible difference, if that makes sense. Like there's not one that's just magically better than the other. 5 lines requires 5 credit bet, where on a single pay line, you can just play 1 line, so you got to consider that. Good question, though. I don't think we've had that one before.
From Vetman54, what is your preference on time of day you like to play? I prefer early morning hours. I prefer hours that I'm awake. I am not a fan of gambling in my sleep, but it's whenever I am there is when it's a good time to gamble. There's really nothing that's going to give me an advantage or an edge. I do see what you mean by early morning hours because a lot of times it's a little less crowded in the casino, and I do agree with that. But I also kind of like it when there's a little more action in the casino as well. Something's going on and the people watching is on point.
Yeah, I'm the same. I prefer playing when it's kind of less crowded, so I can play the machines that I want to play. But just remember, there's no time of day like that's magically better than the others for winning, like winnability kind of stuff. You just play when you want to play, when it's less crowded, or maybe you like the crowds and you like the noise and the excitement. Go play then, Ronman has a good question. When you play a game with a bonus round and you can choose the number of spins, is it already a set amount of money to win? Does it matter? The answer is no. It is not decided yet. Okay. Perfect example of this, dancing drums. A lot of people have played dancing drums. When you get into the bonus round and you get to pick between a lot of lines and few number of free spins and very few lines and a lot of free spins, what you're basically doing there is picking the volatility of the games that are about to go after that, after you make your decision, right? And so a lot of people like the riskier bets. They like to either do the mystery, which is pretty risky, but they also like going on the right side, which is maybe 3 free games, but the reels are very big, right? Because if you do get lucky enough in those 3 spins to hit 5 of a kind, it can be tremendously huge, right? But the limitation factor there is that it's only 3 spins. So you have to get it pretty quick. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. So it's very volatile. A lot of people like to feel a little bit safer on the other end of that spectrum. But the important thing to know is that, no, it does matter which one you pick because the free games amount that's going to pay has not been decided yet. Okay, those are all RNG stops whenever the free games start. Nobody knows what those are going to be yet. So pick which one you are most comfortable with. If you can't figure it out, go in the middle. I always go in the middle. I'm just kind of that kind of, I like going right, unless I'm having a wonderful night and things are crazy and I'm way up, then I'll push my risk and do something crazy. But I usually go right in the middle when I have to select one of those things. But very good question.
And I just had one here because I just messed it up when I did that. Here it is. From Lost in Carolina. When the trial membership over, can you still participate in Discord? We do purge out non-members in Discord fairly regularly. So enjoy it while it lasts. But yeah, membership Discord is for members.
That's right. Okay. Hey, Helen. Good to see you. Hey, Helen's always in here. Question about pinball. Is the random number generator especially especially programmed to only rarely hit the bottom tray during the pinball bonus, like only one time at the lifetime of the machine? Good question. So it's not a set number of spins or a set number of amount of money that has gone in. It's all about the probability of such a thing happening. Okay. And so here's a way to think about it, right? You guys have probably watched Wheel of Fortune before, and you know that there's $1 million wedge on the wheel, right? But that is one little small piece of the wedge, right? It's one stop on that full wheel, okay? So let's say that you do get the $1 million wedge. Well, that's just the beginning, because then you have to go through the entire game without getting a bankrupt to lose that wedge, right? And let's say that you do get all the way to the end and, you know, defied all odds and you've gotten to the end. Well, you still have to spin another wheel, and there's only one spot on that wheel that has the $1 million card. So it takes a lot to get there. The probabilities are difficult to withstand all that. So think about that with pinball. The same thing is happening there. The way that you get the balls down all the way in the bucket, all of them, is you just have to be lucky on each one of those spins that go around. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you exactly how the pinball game works. Each time you spin, let's say you get the pinball bonus and you press the button and it goes and it lands in something. Let's say it lands in 25, okay? That first ball is actually completely evenly weighted to all the values that are up there, meaning that it could evenly weight in the 100, it could evenly weight in the 25, the 15, the 10, whatever. So that first ball kind of starts things. But depending on which one it lands in, let's say it lands in the 25, well, that next ball, the weights are going to change. So the next time you press that ball to launch the ball, it may be more heavily weighted towards the 10s and the 15s or the 5s because you got the 25 initially. And it's certainly true if you ended up getting the 100 on the first one. Then you start to get a lot of 10s and 5s and 15s. It's not because it's purposely picking those. It's just that the amount of those for the RNG to pick from has grown or shrunk based off of what has come before, if that makes sense. So pinball's very unique in that. And the reason they have to do that is that's the only way that they can create an average bonus round amount, is they have to be able to do that. It can't just be a free-for-all, pick whatever lands every single time. They have to change the weights based on how far along in the bonus you've progressed. So like I said with Wheel of Fortune, it's the same way. Like, it's just the odds of getting all the way to the very end down there, the probabilities are very difficult. So trying to get all the balls in there, there's probably only one way to do it. And you have to just be lucky enough that every single time that you do that, you pick the right, the RNG just happens to stop on each one of those one possibilities 5 times in a row. It's just astronomical.
There's only one video on YouTube that I've seen.
Yeah,
of hitting all
where
5.
somebody's done that.
That's how hard it is.
It's very hard. Now on Pinball Double Gold, they have made it easier. I don't know how much easier, but it is certainly easier. I've seen a couple of videos already where people have accomplished that.
We did it like 6 times in a row, so it's not that hard.
But yeah,
the secret is being demo mode.
Yeah, that's right. But good question. Sorry I nerded out a little bit, but hey, if you want to know how the pinball bonus works, that's it.
All right, and from Texbino, is there a manufacturer date on slot machines? There is on almost all slot machines. It's pretty easy to see, and it's on the side. It's a metal plate about, yay big, a little bit bigger than a playing card, and it has the manufacturer date, the serial number, all a bunch of information, who the manufacturer is, all that kind of stuff. A lot of times it'll have the state regulation tag in there, so they're the state identifier or whatever. So just look at that next time. Just look to the side, you'll see it.
Let's see.
I do have to say, I don't really think I've ever looked for them on the high volatility ones, just the older one.
They're there. They're just probably in a different spot.
Right.
Sometimes they're actually below now. They're like down at the bottom, because a lot of the newer machines, the actual slot machine stands are built into the game itself, like the cabinet.
Right.
And so they put it on a plate down there. Tin Man says, did you say recommendation of take or retry on top dollar is a guess by the machine based on average payout? So it's not a guess. What it is the mathematical average based on the offer amount and which offer you're on. Okay. So it's basically statistics, right? It's out of all the different possibilities that you can get in a top dollar bonus, and based on the offer number that you're on, It's making a statistical suggestion to you on whether to take it or try again. But this is fixed. It's a fixed formula, meaning that let's say that your first offer was 85 credits and you probably should have taken that, and you click try again. It's not going to punish you later on because you did try again on that. Each offer is completely independent and separate. It's not like pinball. Pinball is different. This one, every single offer is completely separate and independent. So all it's doing is telling you what the best play is at the time. Liken it to video poker. You know, when should you hold or go for the 4 of a kind? Should you hold the full house, or should you go for a 4 of a kind? Well, statistically, you should just hold the full house, right? And not go for the 4 of a kind. But, that's up to you to decide. So it's very similar to that, if that makes sense. Good question, Tin Man.
Oh, man. Check this out from Bob. Bob donated 50.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Bob. So if you were lucky enough to get one of those memberships, make sure to go to the community page and click on there and see all the basically everything and how to join our Discord as well.
Yeah, that's
really
right.
Thank you, Bob.
And I'll bump
Bob's really responsible for our membership right now.
Yeah, he is. He's our membership organizer.
We have 5 members plus all the ones Bob gives away.
And just remember, guys, that Bob, these gifted memberships, he's paying for you to have a free 1-month subscription to our membership plan, which is our Discord. We have behind the scenes videos, extra videos that we do before our live streams that we're doing right now. We actually do another live stream right before this for members. We do some giveaways, which we're going to be doing a little bit later today for members. So take part in that, have fun, and if you like it, we'd love it if you were new to subscription, but it's not forced. It's not going to automatically renew or anything like that. It's just a gift from Bob. So Bob, thank you so much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Absolutely. Wow.
Thank you, Bob.
Dang.
Let's see.
I had one here. Then
sorry. One little crazy AZN. I don't know what that is, but okay. Why is the minimum bet higher in high limit? For example, 10-cent denom men bet in regular room is $5, but you go to the same 10-cent. It's because it's in the high limit room. They're catering to people that like playing higher. So this is very common. In fact, most high limit rooms, the bets start around $5. Now there's some that are around $1. They put some dollar machines in there, but they usually have big bets attached to them, right? So high limit rooms are just that. They're for high limit players that like playing at that level. So that's why you find those machines in there set to higher denominations, right? So if you're not comfortable playing that level, I would not go in there and play.
And generally speaking, high limit rooms are for higher limit players because they don't want to play with the rest of us. They don't want people walking around who've had too many drinks, all this stuff. They're looking for more of their relaxation.
Not only that, I mean, it's a big advertisement, especially if you're in a busy high limit room. You see a lot of jackpots and hand pays going off. There's a lot of security in that room because there's panhandlers, there's people that are coming in, and it makes high limit players very uneasy when somebody starts to approach them. So that's why there's always been like a room so they can easily, secure it, watch after it, make sure the patrons are happy in there because they're the big money makers for the casino. Yep, so they got to take care of them.
From Lex to Trex, is it better to bet lowest denomination, high bet, or highest denomination, low bet? So we're talking a fraction of a percent difference between betting the lowest bet on the lowest denomination and betting the highest bet on the highest denomination. I mean, so it's so little of a difference, it really doesn't matter. Focus on your budget and how many bets you have at that machine and try to say, okay, look, I'm only going to do 20 spins, or I'm only going to do 30 spins at this bet. And that fits in with my budget, which is X. So rather than focus on trying to play the highest thing and thinking that's going to give you a better advantage, focus on your budget and having that last longer, because more spins is going to give you the best advantage. Whereas the domination level is really not going to be splitting hairs as far as whether it's going to help you or not.
Well said. Let's see. Butcher says, always had better luck in the morning and come back in the evening and give it all back. You would have thought I would have learned, but no. Be careful with that.
Hard lesson to learn.
Yeah, but that's but you got to be careful. It's not because you played in the evening. That's the dangerous thing there. So we don't want you to, because what'll happen is you'll start just playing in the mornings, and your brain will trick you. I know it sounds crazy, but your brain actually does trick you, because you spotted a pattern, right? You spotted, hey, I win more in the mornings than I do in the evenings. So I better just start playing in the mornings. And what happens is you will lose in the morning. Guaranteed. You will lose in the morning. There will be times where you lose in the morning, right? But your brain may not recognize that happening. And that's where it gets a little bit dangerous. So please remember, time of day has no bearing at all on the outcome of a slot machine. That includes bingo games too, guys. I see some questions in here about crowd sizes and bingo and time of day. None of that makes any difference, guys. It's random. It's still random. Even though it's bingo server and all that, it's still divvying out those cards and prizes randomly. Okay, it has to fit. It has to work its way into a payback percentage, just like any other non-bingo slot machine. It's the same thing. So don't fall victim into thinking that time of day makes any difference whatsoever, crowd size or anything like that, because you could start to make some bad decisions based off of that. Well, I could see, well, I always win in the morning, so I'm going to play a little bit extra in the morning. You see what I mean? That's kind of the path that I'm trying to get you to avoid. So,
yes, for sure. Don't get into that whole thing of, all right, this is a good one for Majestic Slots here. Majestic Slots. Since the year is ending, what a fantastic year has been for you. What was the most important thing you accomplished this year? What is something you're looking to accomplish next year?
wow.
For me, the most important thing was essentially getting all of this running.
Yeah.
You know, it was a huge thing of just getting everything running, and the sort of baby steps we had to take, and the trips and falls we made, and when do we do this? When do we take care of this? When do we, like, we got a trademark on our brand? When do we do that? You know, is that something we need to do now? Is it something we do later? Setting up an LLC, bank accounts, all this stuff you don't think about that has to still happen. Ordering products, getting products for better deals, so you're, you know, able to pay for these products and shipping and everything else, right. All that stuff. For next year, obviously I want to get to 100,000. I want to get the plaque. You know, that's like my big goal. I'm sure it's going to happen. It's just I'm being very impatient now about it happening. It's like, I want it to happen now.
No, it'll happen.
And also outdoing ourselves for our next G2E meetup. That'd be my two things.
Yeah. Boy, philosophical time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, and we talked about this a little bit on our Slots Fan interview we did, and you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. Go to Slots Fan.
I like it. I
watched on YouTube.
I watched it twice.
Proud Monkey or Susan, if you're able to get the direct link to that video, if you could put that in case you guys haven't seen it. So we talked a little bit about this on there, and I think what surprised me the most is Dave and I looked at each other when we first started this thing, and we're like, we didn't think this was going to get big. We were just wanting to have fun. We just wanted to get good information out there and to have some fun doing it. That was our mantra for starting the channel, right? Mm-hmm. And we had no idea that it would be where it is today. I think if we went back to last October when we started, we would have never thought that we would be at 65,000 subscribers and 6 million views. That's crazy in a year, right? But we have all of you guys to thank for that. And believe me, we are very humble when it comes to these things. This has all happened because of you guys, your commitment to the channel, to our family here that we've built. We have a community that is so powerful and strong of people that want to learn how to gamble responsibly when they go into the casino, right? There's a lot of people out there that watch a lot of content on YouTube and they want to replicate that. They want to win like all of these other channels are winning, but you got to be careful with that, right? You got to know the downsides. You got to know what to do in those situations. And that's what we've been trying to push forward. And people are listening. I read the comments. Yeah, there's some nut jobs in the comments. I know. But I read the comments and hearing people just say how much it has helped them with their budget control, knowing when to leave. People are doing these things.
And we get that all the time. That's
safe.
Like the one thing that people say to us.
Right. They're leaving money in the safe. They're going home with money where they didn't do that before, and it means the world to me. So what do I want to accomplish next year? I just want to get more people on board. I want more people to experience that because they're going to have more fun in the casino when they're not losing their ass every single time they go in there, right? It's more fun that way. It is. So I know I gave a long answer there, but that's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked that because it's time to always self-reflect at the end of the year. Like, what were your accomplishments? What do you want to accomplish next year? It's a good question. So I appreciate that, buddy. Absolutely. And make sure you go check his channel out because he started a new channel a couple months ago, and it's great. He plays a lot of top dollar too, which I love.
Exactly.
Thank you, buddy.
We're not biased though.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so from Parker Road, have you been able to get any more info on how Class 2 works, how crowd size impacts play? So crowd size doesn't necessarily impact play. There's another question I'm going to combo into this was, how come I get waiting for players sometimes? So just like any other game of bingo, you're playing by yourself, the game doesn't work. All right, you have to have multiple cards out there with people hitting their daubers, marking up those balls. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It's like playing bingo by yourself at home. How long is it going to take you to fill up that bingo card? And then when you do, you've only put in that much money. So let's say I'm playing at home, I put in $5, and I hit up my bingo card because I'm the only one playing, I win $5. Now, if you have multiple playing, and this is very simplified, you have multiple people in the casino. Let's say we have 11,000 slot machines at WinStar, and 5,000 are playing. Each one of them is playing $3 a spin. You have 5,000 times 3 is $15,000 every single round of bingo, every single spin, and you get a portion of that back. That's a lot of money that you're dividing up between everybody who's playing. So, in a sense, yes, it does matter, but it also doesn't matter. You don't need X number of people to play the game, but you do need more than X. So if that makes any sense. So let's say you can't play with less than 20 people. So does that mean you can't play because it's a slow day? No, there's probably 20 people playing throughout a massive complex like a casino. So always keep that in mind. It doesn't necessarily matter, but it does matter a little bit. It's just like playing bingo by yourself. You're just going to be playing that game for an hour, and then you win your own money back.
In relation to that, Marty B says, why does bingo games say waiting on other players? So there is a minimum, but you're actually in competition for the game-winning card, which is for a penny. That's all you're actually doing.
And you want to feel rage, win that penny.
So the way the bingo, so the reason Class 2 bingo exists is it's to get around the class, like the laws of getting Class 3 classification approval for a casino. It's very costly. It's very expensive. A lot of Indian-based casinos are Class 2 because the barrier to entry is so much lower, right? So they have to do it a different way. Like they can't rely on a computer chip inside of the slot machine to generate random numbers. They have to do it some other way. And so what they decided was, well, let's create the game of bingo. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, the game of bingo is when somebody fills up their card. And that's why if you do fill up the card when you're playing a slot, you get a penny. And that's because by law,
you have to win. Before
that game can end, somebody has to win the game of bingo. And that just happens to be the full card worth a penny. Now, they can set that penny to whatever they want. There was a game we played where we actually got our bet back. I don't remember which one that was, but we actually played a game and got a full card, got our bet back. So they can set that to whatever they want, but most times it's a penny.
It's a penny, and it aggravates the hell out of you because you get this full card.
You get a full card. You're thinking you're going to get.
This is going to be awesome.
You get a penny. So really, that's ultimately all you're doing by law is just playing to get that penny. But everything that happens in between is where the randomness is generated. This is where you get prize distributions, just like you would on a regular slot machine, like you see behind me. It's just a different way of doing that, right? So just try to keep that in your mind. It has a payback percentage return and everything.
From Sean McElroy, will you guys do any more collaboration with other slot channels? Love the NJ Slot Guy interview. Very cool idea. Yeah, we do with Old School Slots. We film with Lucky Ginger Slots. Lucky Jewel slots. I mean, we love collaborating with our other channels out there, and it's anyone who wants to collaborate. If we're in the same area, we're there. We're going to do something together.
Let's see. Deviator asking a question: why would a casino that has Class 2 and Class 3 keep the Class 2? That's a good question. I think it's just because people play them. Like it would be incredibly naive and stupid for a casino to remove games that are actively being played all the time. That would be incredibly dumb on their part. And I think that's what happens at places like WinStar and Choctaw. Now, the Class 3 are kind of taking over, right? There's more and more Class 3 showing up in these casinos, but they're never going to push out the Class 2 completely because it's just, there's too many people. There's too many loyal people that go up there just to play those. We're one of them.
Also, another thing to consider is that Class 2, especially the older games, they're all paid for. You own those games.
Yeah.
There's no additional cost of ownership when you're bringing on new Class 3s. They're most likely leases, so you're splitting profit. So really, you wouldn't get rid of a car that runs. So same thing. Oh, I do have to tell real quick. We had 3 orders come in for the poker chips. Michelle was the first one. Sorry, Robin. Lewis was the second one. Sorry, Robin. But Robin was the third one.
There you go. All
Just
right.
to give Robin an extra.
And hang tight, guys. We're going to do our giveaways here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We should do that now.
So Texas Weather says, I live in Texas. What are the laws about an individual owning a Class 3 machine? Wide open.
Look at that guy. Look at him.
Guys.
He's an individual.
In Texas, I've got machines out my ass. No, in all seriousness.
And if we buy one, it won't be that one.
Yeah. No. No, in all seriousness, the state of Texas, you can own any Class 3 slot machine. And we actually do sell them on the site. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yep.
But if you go to gamblesmart.net and you go to our store and go to slot machines, we have some for sale in there, and they cycle through pretty rapidly, right? So it's based on what I have coming in from my dealers, what I get around to fixing and restoring, and when they're ready to go, they get put on the website. So
when he's not working and having a life.
Yep.
And that's basically it. You'd be able to get a lot more done if you didn't have this job and work and
it does weigh me down, but I love it. Jonathan Chansey says, how are machines truly RNG? They're not. They're not truly random. I'm telling you that. Slot machines are not truly random. If a machine requires, say, a 92% pack based on, say, Nevada law, I don't see a possible way these machines are truly random number generated outcomes. Help me understand. We've done a lot of videos on these. Guys, Susan or Proud Monkey, if you have one of those handy, probably the big one, how slot machines work, probably the best. So I'll make it really quick. I know I always say that, and it's very long. Dave always gives me shit for that. So
let me do this real quick.
They are not truly random. They couldn't be. They couldn't be truly random and pay back a certain percentage to the players in the casino. That's not possible, right? You were correct on that. But there is a random aspect and there is a control aspect, okay? The random aspect of a slot machine is that nobody knows what's coming next. You don't know. The manufacturer doesn't know. The employees walking around the casino, the guy in the back room, I'm using those in quotes. Nobody knows when you press that button what's about to happen. But the RNG has to pick from a certain set of outcomes or probabilities, right? So think of it as a big container of ping pong balls. It's, big fish bowl, 100 ping pong balls in there, okay? And each of those balls represents some kind of symbol that you see on a slot machine, right? The RNG is the claw coming down and picking one of those ping pong balls up. You don't know which one it's going to pick, but it has to be one of those 100 that are in that bowl, right? Now, what's in that bowl is a collection of low-paying symbols, high-paying symbols, bonus symbols, all that kind of stuff, right? And it's distributed based on the probabilities of the game and the outcomes that have been programmed into it. So for a 90% payback, what they do is they run simulations on picking which symbols should it be able to pick from, how many cherries should be in this bowl, how many double bars should be in this bowl, how many sevens or double diamonds should be in this bowl. And they basically tweak all of this. There's mathematicians that work on this, and they tweak all of this until when they run a simulation of 10 million games played it comes out to within 0.02% of that payback percentage. And it will. If it doesn't, well, then they got to take a cherry out and put a single bar in, because the single bar is a higher paying symbol than the cherry. Does that start to make sense there? So that's actually what's going on inside of a slot machine. So there's a random aspect. You don't know what's coming next, but the control is that it has to pick from certain things. So try to think of it that way. I think it'll help clear it up a little bit. Good question. I love those questions.
Paul Keller, do you recommend going to a casino on New Year's Eve? I mean, why not? It's most likely it's going to be a little more crowded, but it's probably going to be a huge party atmosphere. They're probably giving away some extra stuff. I know WinStar is giving away a lot extra. If I go there on Christmas Day, which isn't happening, I get an extra $50. If I go there on New Year's Eve, I get an extra $50, and come back New Year's Day, it's an extra $50. So a lot of times they're giving away a little bit extra to just get you there. But also remember that it's usually packed. Things are usually booked. So just keep that all in mind. But I would totally go. I don't want to go, but I would go.
I don't think I'd ever be in a casino on New Year's Eve. If I was there, I'd stay in the room, because wow.
Like if there was like a party going on, you know,
I wouldn't be there.
It was kind of a neat thing, something like that. But yeah, if it was just the crowd, that wouldn't be like on top of my list to go.
See, that's why I have Dave on this channel with me. I get send him to all the parties and
the
social.
And then that's why I get the cool stuff that he doesn't get.
I won't be there.
He misses. This is the cool stuff, like getting the Wheel of Fortune.
That's box. Right. Oh, you missed out on the party, Mark. I know what I did.
Yep. Look at this. I got this autograph.
I know. Rocky Mountain High Limit Slots, man. Haven't seen you forever. How's it going, man? Good to see you. When are you starting your channel back up? He played a lot of top dollars. Hope you're doing well, man.
Which we also got to get to Colorado.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do need to get to Colorado. That's right. Pick up Susan on the way. Let's see.
There's another good one here, and I missed it. Oh, there's another one.
BB says, howdy. What is the point of having a machine show credits instead of the dollar amount? F you.
To disassociate yourself with money.
Yes.
That's the whole point of credits.
It's a mind trick. It is.
That's why we changed things from chips, from money to chips. Disassociate yourself from value.
Exactly
right. That's the whole purpose.
It's exactly right. They don't want you to know how many dollars it is when it's 468 nickels. And that's what you're betting. That's hard math, right? So it is
hard math.
They don't want you to know, because you will disassociate, just like Dave said. He said it perfectly. Yeah, that's exactly why it defaults to that. Drives me nuts. I wish they wouldn't do that.
Really, I really wish. I'm torn on it, because here's the thing. On Top Dollar, I like the credits. But I like the version you have where it shows you the dollars as well. So you know how much dollars you have.
I know. Yeah.
So it's like, I like that part. But the same thing, it's you're not feeling how much money you've won. Pennies is easy. Pennies is super easy math. 10 cents, super easy math. Nickels and quarters, hard math.
Yeah.
There were several times at WinStar this past trip, I won like 320 some quarters. Like, what is that? I know it's less than $100. 75, 85, 83. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only thing that's good is that some of the games that have like a carryover, like I'm trying to think what it's called. Frankenstein's a perfect example of this, where each bet level has a different set of multipliers up top, right? That one's actually cool, because as you switch, before you place a bet, you can switch the different denominations and credit sizes, and it will actually tell you how much dollars that is before you commit to the bet. And I think that that's what they should actually do, now that I think about it, is instead of you pressing the touch screen to initiate the spin, you have to press the spin button. So pick your bet size first using the touch screen, and then on the screen you will see this is a $12 bet, and then press the spin button. But it's inconsistent, right? Some games don't do that. As soon as you press on the touch screen, boom, it's spinning.
It spins. I hate that.
It's inconsistent. So
I'm just looking at my options here. Woo!
Yeah. And $5 super chat. We did get your question. We were going to answer it. MTH, $5. So thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. You don't have to send us super chats to get questions, guys. We just get a lot more questions than we can answer.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Ultimate Firelink cash falls? Does RNG dictate how far the real strip moves for the entire column as a whole game, unique game? So I'm not going to get into this because it's going to take a very long time to explain. I'm going to lose about 150 people in here. But we will do a video on this because it's not just those. There are other games like this. Buffalo Ascension's another one. There's a lot of games that have that kind of persistence, right, where you get the columns going up. And how does the RNG deal with that? There is an explanation for that, but we will do it in a standalone video. So thank you so much for that. I will remember to do that.
And then we had another one from Paul Medina. Not a slot question, but any ways you can avoid resort fees in Vegas. So there are a few ways. So let's just say if you have status, gold and above at MGM, you get resort fees waived. There are many properties that do not have resort fees. Several downtown properties do not have resort fees. They are not 100% rule in Vegas. You can find casinos that do not, and they advertise as such quite heavily. So yeah, you can get around resort fees by going to casinos that don't charge them, by having status. But on a whole, for a casino that charges resort fees, they do not waive those. There's almost zero chance you're getting those waived unless you qualify in some other way, as in, you're a high roller, you're coming there, and that's part of your agreement, or you get them to waive those fees after the fact. But no, as a general rule, they're not going to waive them. Not anymore.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Way gone.
Unless you get certain status, that's the other thing. But
holy crap. Robert, thank you for your order of 12 poker chips.
Robert. Good.
Wow.
Keep Dave busy. Thank you so much, Robert.
12 poker, Jesus.
Mike Frederick says, hey guys, does a slot machine hit its main progressive jackpot eventually through the lifetime on a casino floor? It can, but it can't also. Here's the thing. Let's take progressives out. Let's take progressives out of the equation for now. That's a little bit different. But it is theoretically possible that a game's top line jackpot the probabilities are so bad at hitting it that it may never hit it the lifetime it's on the floor. 10 times pay and 12 times pay come to mind. Those old classic 3 rules.
25 times pay.
Highly possible that those will never hit, even if the machine is on the floor for 4 or 5 years and has 10 million plays. It's possible, right? Or it could happen once or it could happen twice. It's just very difficult. There is a restriction, though. They have to make it within a certain percentage. I don't know what that percentage is, but there is a restriction. They cannot make it so difficult that an average person could never hit it, right? It has to be obtainable within a certain period of time. I don't know those numbers, otherwise I'd tell you. But I do know that exists. So they can't just go crazy and do whatever the hell they want, right? It has to be obtainable. Now, progressives are different, okay? Progressives, they must be hit because a progressive is being fed by the players. The base amount of the progressive is what is built into the game payback percentage. Anything that goes over that progressive base amount has been fed by the players and by law must be given back to the players. So if there is a machine that has a climbing progressive on it and it doesn't get hit yet, and they have to take that machine out of service for whatever reason, let's say it's permanently done, they have to transfer that progressive, the amount over the base, to another game that is on the casino floor. And they must keep doing this until somebody hits that progressive.
Until someone wins it.
Right, because the progressives are due back to the players, the amount above that base. And that's by law, okay? So a lot of people out there will say, yeah, but they see the progressive get really high, like on Dragon Links and stuff, and then they just turn the machines off because they don't want anybody to hit it. That's BS. They can't do it.
Yep.
The law will not allow that to happen, and they will get caught. And so if that does happen, again, they will take that progressive and they have to move it to another machine. And so that's why sometimes a good example of this was actually at Park MGM. Dave, do you remember that 5-line double jackpot old game?
Oh, yes.
That had the $99,000 progressive, and the one sitting next to it was $1,500. Same game.
Yeah.
So that's because there's no way that game has been in service long enough to get that high. But what happened is they took probably a bank of those, like 6 or 7 of them, and got rid of them. But what they had to do is take the progressive amounts and attach it to another one. And so it just happened to be that one that they picked. So that's by law, guys.
Which is how the Monte Carlo machine got to 600 something thousand, was because they rolled them all through.
Yeah.
And most likely what's going to happen is that machine is going to break before it hits the progressive jackpot. And they're going to have to roll it onto something else.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle, that's for sure.
Oh, this is a good question. So this is a big exception that happened. So during the Tropicana, before it closed down. So what do you do when it's closing down? Like, what do you do when you can't transfer the progressive? So this is why it went nuts.
Wait. Tropicana wasn't a good example. Mirage was a good example.
The Mirage was the example. Yeah, that's right. Because Tropicana has other properties. Yeah.
So, and Tropicana had enough time to kill all the progressives and everything else.
Yeah, because one of the settings, and I know this because I've set up progressives many times. One of the settings is that as soon as the progressive is hit, you can disable the machine. And so that's probably what Tropicana did. As soon as somebody hit the progressive, they disabled the machine so they can go ahead and take it out of service. They know when it's leaving anyway. Mirage, you're right, Dave, is the exception. Mirage was the one where these games could not be transferred anywhere. It was very short term. So what did they have to do? They had to give it back to the players, and that's why it went nuts for days before, because they had to do all these promotions to give that money away, the progressive money away, because you can't force a machine to pay a progressive by a certain date. That's not possible. But what they can do is, instead of paying it back and combining with another machine, is they can do it as giveaways, which is what they did. They had to give it back to the players, though. They couldn't just keep it in pocket the money.
A series of hot seat giveaways.
Hot seat giveaways.
And that's what happened. Yep.
They can give away cars, they can give away all kinds of stuff, but they have to give it back to the players in some fashion. Yeah.
It's a good one from Matt Scott. Speaking of Texas, how do the slot machines work when you see them in gas stations?
Oh,
they're illegal. That's how they work. Those are illegal.
Well, hold on. There's two types. There's two types. Okay. There are some legal ones, and there's gas stations around here that have legal ones. They're called 8-liners. And the way you know they're legal is that the maximum wager is a penny, and the maximum you can win is $5, and it's for in-store credit, not alcohol, not lottery tickets, not tobacco products.
Very few of these legal games exist.
It's completely 100% legit and within the law. But unfortunately, even around here, there are a lot of gas stations that have fire links in them. They're they call themselves sweepstakes. Very edgy. Yep. I'm not a lawyer, but I've read the Texas law on this, and it's not legal. it's not legal. And the problem with, and I hear people like, yeah, but I go all the time and I win. My brother-in-law is in here. I see you. I'm talking right to you, man.
Does he play that stuff?
I doubled my money. Just wait, because those games are not licensed games. They're replicas. Someone took Dragon Link over in China and reproduced it, and it runs on a Dell computer that is sitting below the slot machine that you see. And they can set those to any payback percentage. There's no limit. There's no cap, nothing. They can set it to whatever they want it to be, and they could change it whenever they want. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Even if you've done well in those places, I strongly urge you not to go there, because it's number one, the crime is high around those places, right? For obvious reasons. But number two, I mean, do you feel comfortable gambling in an environment where they have no regulatory approval for anything like that?
Here's something else to think about. The equivalent to betting on those machines and the person not paying you out is the equivalent to calling the police because the meth dealer didn't give you the meth.
That's right.
So
there's nothing you can do.
There's no recourse you have. You're out of luck. They don't have to pay you. There's no law that says they do. And if you call the police will be like, what do you want us to do? Because the police aren't gaming regulators, so they're not going to be able to do anything anyway.
I mean, it's in their best interest to pay you, right? Because they want to keep going. They want to keep the thing going. This is how the mob did it, right? They want to keep a good thing going, and so they have to pay people out. It's just like Ponzi schemes. You know, you got to keep the people happy, otherwise, things start to unravel, right? And so I know this is true because I've had these people come and try to buy machines off me, and they ask me, how do I set these to 50% return? I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like these are licensed games that I have for sale. They don't even go lower than 83%, and it's like, I know this exists, and I'm just trying to impress upon you guys to just, if you're going to go, be careful, but I strongly encourage you to stay away from that. Take the trip to go to a licensed casino where you're protected by gaming control and all that kind of stuff. I just would never put money on the line in a place where they can do whatever the hell they want. We don't have to say anything else about it, but yeah, they all do get rated, by the way. And the problem is that the penalties aren't very severe. They go in there and they smash the screens and they take the CPU box. Well, guess what? Both of those are easily replaceable. They just set up shop somewhere else.
They seize the machines, and then the people who had them seized go buy those machines at auction. Yeah. And they're right back on the floor. Yeah. But like Mark said, they're so cheap, they just do it anyway.
It's worth it. They pay the fine. They pop up somewhere else. They have the same cabinets. Yep. And they just buy new screens and new CPUs, and they'll make that money back within a weekend. No problem, right? Okay.
We got to give away stuff. Else. We got to give away stuff.
Yeah, let's give away stuff. So what we're going to do is the hats. So everybody that donated during
we have your names.
November support of the Children's Army, you're automatically going to get a hat. I think there was 5 of you?
There was 8, 9. There was 8, plus we had 2 that donated directly to the Children's Army, which are Donna and I'm going to have to get the other name. But we'll reach out to you and get that. But we thank you guys so much. Will over at Children's Army made these up for us. Awesome guy. Makes these prizes for you guys for supporting the charity that he does work so hard for. Let me just go over a couple of these who won. MN Nice, George, Darren C, Rhyme Time UK, Spirit of the Morning. You guys all won hats, as well as Donna, and I can't remember the other person's name. I'm sorry. That way that works. But yeah, you'll be getting a hat. We're going to email you guys so you can get us back.
So how many do we have left?
We have, hold on. Damn it, let me count.
So for the rest, we're going to give away to members.
Okay, hold on.
First of the membership is we do monthly giveaways. We haven't done it in a while. I'm going to be the first to admit it. So we're going to randomly pick some members to get those.
5, 6, 7. Okay. We have 3 more, but let me do a quick count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we have 3 more to give away.
3 more to give away?
3 more.
Okay.
And they are in sealed containers.
I've got a list in here. I'm just going to shout out the names of the 3 lucky members that are going to get a hat. And if you could guys, if I call your name, please email us at gamblesmartgamblesafe@gmail.com, and we'll validate you and get your address and all that kind of stuff. So the first,
as well, if I called your name earlier too.
Yeah. First is Debbie Joe.
Ooh, Debbie Joe.
So member Debbie Joe, make sure you reach out. You said 3, right?
3. So that's
next one is Darren C. And the last one is Tara O'Neill.
Tara O'Neill. All right.
So you 3, please email us at gamblesmartgamblesafe@gmail.com. We'll give you a week to email us. If not, we'll do it again next week or the next time we're on, and until we finally get somebody that responds.
And I am giving away the Knockout 52 game from the video I did at Knockout 52, which I've already heard. I believe Jim told me this. It's already gone from Foxwood's floor. So that did not take long. It's exactly what we're talking about. It was.
So now it's a relic.
The game, without a great dealer, the game is going to stall. You have to have a high energetic dealer. Yeah. And I think there are great dealers out there. There's just not enough of them. So this is going to, Cyber Adam 26, the Cyber Adam 26 for commenting on that video. Send us your email address, send us your mailing address. We'll get this out to you ASAP. It's got the hat, it's got the felt, a deck of cards, chips inside, and I believe there's instructions as well how to play.
Awesome. Congratulations, and guys, thank you so much for all your donations to this charity. I think we raised a little over $1,100, so that was awesome. That was awesome.
That was really awesome. We will be doing that again for the Children's Army, and we are going to the golf tournament for the Children's Army. Mark and I will be playing in it. Playing is a loose term for me because I hit the ball, and I hope to go find it.
Drive the golf cart.
He can drive. Mark will be driving the golf cart. I'll take your swings because I probably need them.
How about you get me to the putting green, and I'll finish it from there.
So I like take 3 or 4 shots to get on the putting green. You take like 7 shots to get in the hole. Is that about right?
Oh man.
But yeah, we will be at the next next golf tournament for the Children's Army, so that we can be there as well and support Will.
All right, let's get back to some questions here. Let's keep it going. Feeling good here. Let's see. David Connolly says, is there any circumstance where the casino can deny paying out a jackpot win?
Absolutely.
There are definitely reasons.
There's lots of them. You're on the ban list.
Yeah. If you've self-excluded or you've been trespassed,
if you cheated, if you're caught damaging property and that's how you won. There are so many different ways they
just but don't scare everybody, Dave. Like there are a lot of ways.
You have to willingly do something wrong.
Yeah, like it's not just a lot of ways, but it's not. They can't just deny it because they don't want to pay you, or they don't want to pay because it was.
Mark, we're not paying you this jackpot because we don't like your hair.
Yeah, there's nothing like
going to do that. Yeah,
but yeah, if you're on the list, there are some situations where if you're like if the IRS has put a hold on it. They can do that for like child alimony and stuff like that. There are some instances where they can do that. But yeah, if you're just an average gambler, average Joe, they're not going to deny you because, even if they did, your best course of action, let's just say that they did and they don't give you a valid reason. Your best course of action is to file a complaint with the gaming commission that oversees that casino and let them
get a lawyer.
And they will tell you, you don't even need to get a lawyer at that point. Just have the gaming commission. Every gaming commission, gaming control board has an email address or a contact form on their website where you can file a complaint. You tell them exactly what happened, and they will call you back and get all the details. And then they will run to the casino and say, what's your side of the story? And then they will report back on what happened. So that they're there for you guys. They really are.
And get a lawyer.
The
only person in this whole entire piece that's going to look out for your interests is your lawyer. The gaming commission is looking out for what actually happened, but that's not to say that they are looking at turning over every stone, making sure, going through the computer to find out what happened. So you be an advocate for your own win as well.
That's right.
Don't just put it all up to, I'll just let other people take care of it. If it's $300 or if it's $1,200, a lawyer's not gonna be worth it. If it's $4 million, get that lawyer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have a lawyer pretty quick.
Let's see. My wife's in the comments. Yeah, to be honest, Mark is ruthless in mini golf.
Good.
I am. I take it very seriously. Mini golf.
He'll be the short game.
I take it very seriously. It's on. Let's see.
Do I need to get you like a colored ball though? Do you have a putter, or do I need to go steal one from Putt Putt? I mean,
you probably need to. Yeah, just so I have it. Oh man. Jonathan Chansey says, do you ever go to Indian reservation casinos? I heard the RTP is much lower than state regular casinos, just to avoid those if given a chance.
We go there all the higher. We have it on great authority.
It is like it's the reason people say this is because most Indian tribes do not release their return to player statistics.
They're not required to in many cases. They're not subject to a lot of different state laws. They're subject to some state gaming laws, but not reporting. A lot of casinos report independently or voluntarily. They're not required to by law. But most,
and
I'm not going to say all.
And of course, just like, I mean, what does that lead to? Speculation.
Speculation.
Or Every time I go to the Indian casino, I get wrecked. Like you hear stories like that, but you can't really base it off of that. Are there some tribal casinos out there that have it set low? Sure.
Sure.
But there are also state-run casinos that have it set low too.
Yep.
But they don't have
Louisiana.
they don't have it set so low where it's a fine balance, right? You got to set it at a percentage that people will want to play it. And this has been figured out over decades and decades and decades of research. There is a number that you should stay within to encourage people to keep coming back. Because if you go too low, then people will not play there ever. And your casino, will just go belly up, right? But I gotta say, and this is straight up truth, guys. Like, we're not making this up. Dave and I win more at WinStar, an Indian tribal casino, than we've ever won in Vegas.
Yeah, no kidding.
It just
it's consistently
stuff, right?
winning too.
So don't be afraid of tribal casinos. I would say be afraid if there was one tribal casino with 50 slot machines and the next casino is 5 hours away. That one I'd be a little worried about. But no competition, right? They're going to get the gambler regardless, that kind of thing. But if there's competition nearby, things like that, I would never be worried about walking into a tribal casino like that. I really wouldn't.
Oh,
but again, we don't know. We don't know. I can't say that definitively, but they can't set it so low that people will just
they won't come back. I don't care what.
It's
I don't care how great your buffet is. Yeah,
yep.
no one's winning,
and the locals
I mean no one's winning. Here's a good one here from T Schlip 24. Do you trust the new version of Top Dollar versus the classic Top Dollar in terms of offer levels? I feel like the old one is better. They're the same game. They're identical math. There's no difference. I understand what you're saying. I totally do. I really like the old version better, but try to keep in mind the old version is only going to be around for so long before it is no longer able to be repaired. You can't find parts for it. They get too expensive to maintain. Remember, casinos aren't in the business of maintaining slot machines. They're quick fixes. They're quick repairs. Get them back and playing. They're not there to care for them like Mark does. Mark puts countless hours into a machine to get it ready for sale because he's making it fresh again, doing his best to make it new. Casino techs, they're not like that. They're not detail oriented. They're quick fixes, break fixes, get going. So the old Top Dollar is not going to be around very long. It's not going to be around. Oh, and I got to take this one real quick too from Tin Man. Best buffet, WinStar Choctaw. I have not eaten at the Choctaw buffet, but I'm going to tell you it's better than WinStar. And I get the WinStar buffet for free, and it's barely worth that. It is, not good. Do not pay for the WinStar buffet.
Oh, it's not even worth comp, in my opinion. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. MTH says, not hard to check RTP on a few machines yourself. No, you cannot do that.
Cannot do that. That's not
possible.
That
is not possible. I know there's YouTubers out there saying you can. Guys, you cannot do that in a small session. I cannot impress upon you enough. What you're experiencing is variance, and that variance is so small. You have such a small sample size that it tells you absolutely nothing about what the RTP is on that game itself. You may be able to gauge volatility, but you cannot tell what the RTP on a machine is set at by doing any kind of short-term spins. I'm talking 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 spins. You still will not be able to tell the difference because the variance is going to be all over the place. It's huge, right? And it's all probability theory. The reason I feel like I'm not trying to light you up. What I'm trying to say is that this is dangerous, right? If you think this, you're going to be misled. Because if you sit down a machine and let's say you do 100 spins and you get 3 jackpots on it, and then you go to the machine right next to it, which is the same game and everything, and you do 100 spins and you get nothing, you're going to assume that the one that you hit all the jackpots on has a higher RTP. But I'm telling you, they both are the same. It's because you haven't played it long enough to withstand the variance that you will see within a slot machine. And this is very dangerous thinking. People will use this to try to make an advantage play out of a slot machine, and it could lead you down a very dangerous path. So be careful with that. But you cannot tell. You cannot tell. We even did a video, guys, if you want to put that in there too, link, where I did this. I did an example. In case you don't believe what I'm saying, I did an example of 100 spins on 4 different denominations, and I did it twice. And the results are pretty surprising. And it's really what is going on there. That's how they work. So, yeah, just be careful with that. Again, I'm not lighting you up. I understand where you're getting that from, but you can't check it yourself. You cannot check it yourself. And if anybody wants to defend themselves, I welcome it. Bring it. Tell me how you can do it.
And from Nolan Chote, was there any news about Texas getting casinos? The Cowboys are sponsored by WinStar. So, real quick, the Cowboys aren't sponsored by WinStar. WinStar is the official casino of the Cowboys. That is a huge difference. There is the official eye doctor of the Cowboys, the official foot doctor of the Cowboys. All these things, you're just paying money to Jerry Jones to be able to call yourself the official whatever. No, we're no closer to getting casinos at this time because of sorry, I got distracted by the super chat that came in. There's no closer because the concession has not started again for this year. We're waiting on that. There's going to have to be some new bills. The Sands Corporation is pushing their own agenda, which would get rid of all of the card rooms, the poker rooms in Texas, which there are a good deal of now. Texas Card House, several of those different companies are throughout Houston, Austin, Dallas, not in Fort Worth, but all those other places. And they are very lucrative business. They are very good business. Sands Corporation wants to get rid of all of those, and I really don't think that's fair to competition. I think resort gambling is the only way it should be. So there should be resort casinos only, no gas station gambling, no side of the road, little, 4 slot machines, all that. It has to be a resort. So that way you're only keeping about, 7 to 10 in the state I think it would be about the right combination. Maybe 12 or 14, but that'd be about max, just because Texas is so large and you can have resorts spread out. But no, we're not a little closer yet, but I really do feel confident in the next 5 years we'll be right there. I hope.
Yeah. Cowboys, yeah. Yeah, and MTH $5 super chat. There are absolutely games you can check RTP, such as the ones, and I saw that you mentioned Phoenix free games with the spin cycle. Yeah, I mean, I will say that is true. There are some exceptions to that. Top Dollar Deluxe, for example, you can see based off of what the offers suggest that you take or try again. You can roughly tell what the RTP is set to. So I do crawl back a little bit. There are a few games that can do that. The old Phoenix 3x2.
So you're not talking about RTP. You're talking about
no, it's still RTP. You can
percentage.
tell what the setting is based off of that.
Gotcha.
You can set what the payback percentage setting is. You can tell.
Yeah, payback percentage.
Now, what that
RTP
does doesn't do
is your return to player statistics at the end of a cycle.
It doesn't do anything for you, though. It'll tell you what it is, but it's not going to tell you how it's going to behave in the short term. As for Legend of the 3x, 2x Phoenix, yes, that is true. You can tell the count for each one to go up into the top. They got rid of that, though, on the new ones. It's more random than it was before. So they probably learned from that. But, yeah, there are some exceptions. But in general, I just want people to be very cautious of thinking that you can sit down at any old slot machine and figure it out based off a number of spins. You can't do it like that. It's just not.
See, I never call RTP, your payback percentage, because payback percentage is over the life of the machine.
But people interchange that.
I don't really like that as much because RTP is historical data. Return to player is over the life of the machine. So you're not ever getting that percentage, even if you know the percentage.
MTH is talking about the theoretical payback percentage setting.
Okay, gotcha.
And people use those interchangeably, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So,
super sticker from Caroline Fam 777
1999 super chat.
1999. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And a freaking thing just went by here.
No, there's no update on Jackpot being increased. We're not going to hear an update forever.
I can tell you straight up, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Nobody cares except gamblers. No one cares outside of the gambling community. No politicians care. No one cares.
IRS wants its money.
The IRS made a suggestion to Congress that it should be raised. That means 0 to Congress. They don't care.
Yeah.
So don't hold your breath over that. I seriously doubt we're going to hear anything new. You're always going to hear the rattling of, oh, what about this, that? There's probably going to be a couple of bills introduced, but nothing is going to come of it until there is a lot of backing. And the way you get that backing is you write. Don't email. Write a letter. Call on the phone. Go to the office of your local senator or congressman in Washington and let them know this is something you want done. Then you have about 5,000 other people do the exact same thing to that exact same representative. Then the ball will get rolling. And you do that across 30 states, you might see something happen. It's not hard to do. Right? It's slipping it into the budget, into the change of the tax code. It's not like it's a hard thing to do at all. Super easy. Oh, and another $20 from J-Dog. Hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate that, J-Dog.
Thank you, J-Dog. So much. J-Dog's been around for a while. Appreciate you, buddy.
That thumbs up actually does help. This video gets suggested more by YouTube and all our videos. So hit those thumbs up. Absolutely appreciate that.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. We went a little over an hour, but thank you so much for
thank you guys
tuning in tonight, and congratulations to the winners of the really cool hat. Thank you so much to the stars. Appreciate it. And we'll be supporting you again. No worries.
Absolutely, we will be.
Yep. Guys, this is a good time for us to just wish everybody a happy holidays. I know Christmas is coming up next week. We will be off on Wednesday, so we will not have our regular scheduled live, but we wish everybody a very safe. If you're traveling, please be safe.
Be safe.
Please be patient. You know how flying and stuff like that, especially the roads and stuff, are going to be crazy. Please be safe out there. Enjoy time with your family and friends. Reflect back on a wonderful year that we had and think about what we're going to accomplish together next year. So we will see you after the new year on New Year's Day. That'll be our next live show. We'll have some videos published before.
We'll wear hats and we'll blow little things.
We're going to do what now?
Have hats and the poppers and all that stuff.
Oh, are we? Okay. All right. I guess we're going to do that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. And have a wonderful night. Gamble smart.
Gamble safe.
Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.